Well, everybody, going to bring you a little news today. We were talking in last night's live about bad actors and people, doing crazy things that always gets the smoke shop industry jammed up, right? Okay. So today I'm gonna show you a little something here that was sent to me by a associate of mine, and he's like, "Well, how much trouble is this going to start for you?" Well, honestly, probably nothing for me. I'm in Kentucky; they're not, and they're apparently in the Delaware area. This comes from a rag called Newsbreak. It's called Delaware Live News. So today is the 14th. So apparently this happened on the 13th. Detectives arrest three men following several months long drug investigation in Kent County. Delaware State Police, that's always a terrible way to start an article, arrested a 19-year-old, a 23-year-old, and I'm going to butcher these names, so I'm not even going to bother to say them, and a 52-year-old, all of Magnolia, Delaware, a multiple drug dealing charges, concluding a several month long investigation in Kent County. Beginning in November of 23, apparently these people are under, some kind of suspicion, and they're watching them, and, which means somebody snitched them out. And I promise you, they were told on is what really happened. And no, they didn't just find these people. They didn't trip over them, from doing some kind of investigative work in the smoke shops. Somebody told on them. But on the other hand, here's that THCA crowd, that don't understand that really the THCA is just marijuana. It's just marijuana. Okay. Apparently, in November of 23, detectives from the drug unit, the ATF, the Alcohol Tobacco Enforcement, they had to have them in order to be able to really look into the stores, began investigating the Alibaba smoke shop. Located here, they tell the address. Apparently, it's at 2131 South DuPont Highway. Alibaba 2 smoke shop. So there's multiple spots here, even a gas station's involved in this. So the family owns apparently several because they all have the same last name. I'm going to assume that they're family. And throughout the investigation, apparently detectives identified these three individuals and obtained warrants for their arrest. Okay. On June 11th, detectives conducted a traffic stop near Magnolia and arrested one of them. During the search of his car, they found only what they needed to, which was a gun and 17 grams of marijuana. And apparently he had some cash on him, and they called that drug proceeds. So if the man was making deposits for his stores or whatever, they're going to call it drug proceeds because he had a gun and he had some weed. Hopefully they wasn't in multiple bags. It doesn't say that. On June 11th, detectives execute a search warrant on the business, mainly because they can now, because they have some of the principals involved in it. Once you start understanding how an investigation for drugs works, you understand that it just takes, one principal being arrested with some weirdness. One, they thought of drug proceeds, and then they thought of guns, and then they got some weed, which is illegal no matter what you guys still think. Still Schedule 1, it is not Schedule 3. It is what it is, y'all. They blew something up into nothing. Okay. So once they do that, they can go ahead and start kicking open doors and tearing up Jack. Okay. Detectives execute a search warrant at the business and residence, so even went to his house and, his kids around, and told where they live. During the search, detectives located the other two principals at the Liberty Happy gas station and took them into custody. During the search of the property, detectives discovered approximately 1,025.32 grams of marijuana and THC products, which is going to be Delta and other stuff, 2 handguns, ammunition, and of course they're in a smoke shop, so there's going to be pipes and scales and other paraphernalia, and it's paraphernalia instantly once the marijuana is found, and $158,000 plus in suspected drug proceeds. That's what they're going to call it because it was found when they arrested everybody. Now, how that'll go, I don't know. One was arrested and taken to Troop 3. Apparently, that's some kind of designation for police station, where he was charged with crimes listed below, arraigned by Justice of the Peace Court 2, and released on $2,000 unsecured bond, which means he signed himself out. Here's this character. Possessed with intent to deliver a controlled substance. 2 counts. This other character was arrested and taken to the same spot and arraigned at the same spot, and $30,000 his bond. He's done something really bad. Possession of a deadly weapon by a person prohibited who also possessed a controlled substance. Then how did he get? He had to put up $30,000 cash to get free. Possession with intent to deliver, 7 counts, Jesus Christ, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Woo-wee! And the next character goes through the same rigmarole and $2,500 unsecured bond. He does not look pleased. He looks like an older gentleman, so I don't know how he feels, man. It ain't cool. And he maintained a drug property, which is a business, and possession of drug paraphernalia, which was in the business. Whoa, that's crazy. And here we've got some people down here underneath it. They've made some comments. Let's go through them. It's always fun to go through them. Ebb here says they were released on bond because it was only marijuana. Here's a very educated individual. It's basically legal now. They'll get a fine, and state just wanted the money. Yeah, well, and then apparently there's some replies underneath that, and I'll let you guys read it because I'm going to put this in here, and the handguns and all this, and yeah, that's a problem. Shutting down their business, lock them up, and take whatever they have after we're done with them. Deport. Well, Mike, I hate to tell you, but maybe they're Americans. And yeah, well, wow, that's crazy. It is not that serious. They come on, it was weed, not dope. Yeah, it's still illegal, bro. And some bud spending our tax dollars on more serious exploitative than weed. Well, that's a fact. But they're selling it unlawfully. They're not being taxed appropriately. They're not, it's just not weed. It's illegal, y'all. It's illegal. You can't sell weed. They're not a dispensary. They've probably honestly didn't understand that THCA is basically marijuana. Basically, very little difference. And once it gets hot, it is marijuana. It is, okay? Looking at these here, man, there's a lot of racists. Oh, Janice here, she's having flashbacks of 9/11. Here's Sue wants to deport them now, no trial. Jesus, man, I'm gonna start reading this rag more because it looks like there's a lot of racist folks up in the Delaware region. FJB here is a waste of resources. Of course it is, but it is what it is. They're going to bust them. then they need to bust the other smoke shops that are selling it too. I agree. Door to door to door to door. If you're selling it illegally and you've done something illegal, that's into you. It's because they're the problem. Delaware does not need Rush. Come on, man. I'm not even repeating that. I should read ahead. Doc Holliday. The suspects obviously don't believe in banks. That's a lot of money seized. Well, mainly because TCA places, you have to wire that money to get it to them, or they bring it into you, depending on what the deal is there, and they truck that stuff into them, and so they pay them cash. They got to have cash on hand. They don't take checks, man. It just ain't the way things are. That's not how drug dealing works. Okay. Now, of course, the other thing which he talks about here is they're probably going to have a problem with the IRS. I guarantee you the state revenue board wants to know what's up, and they will file charges with the IRS. The IRS is going to audit these three businesses, and if they're not from this country, it might be a great idea to bugger off somewhere. Okay. And of course, so Rosoro here says might as well take the plea. Stories like this just tell you that only certain people are allowed to profit off drug sales. No, I can't even deny that's not true. I don't know how we'll follow this, but I'll try to follow this and see what happens. I'm hoping the person who sent it to me will follow this and do a follow-up about it, and tell me, hey, this is what's happened so far. And, I'll try to give you, week to week, month to month. This could be drug out for 2 years, man. And apparently, a lot of people knew these people and knew what they was doing. And of course they did. They were the go-to spot because they had 158K just sitting around in cash. Somebody was visiting them on a regular basis. All right. And apparently they was selling, like Adam here says, weed at the gas station. Wow. That's wild. What's going on with that bunch up there, man? Jeez. Okay. So that's what I got, man. And this cast of characters here are not very pleased with what's going on, which, I've been in front of that camera and I know how that feels. So repeatedly, and I know it's not yuck. That's great. But anyway, wow, check out this 3-inch glass jar with lid oil burner that they put on here for you guys to see. Awesome. Awesome. All right, that's what I got, y'all. Stay tuned. I got some more. I found a bunch more. There's some foolishness going on in the U.S., and I can't wait to tell you all about it. But hey, we love you. Thanks for stopping by and spending a few moments with Chad. Bye. Geez, that's crazy. I can't believe these fellas has done this. Yeah, I can, man. I totally understand where they're at. If they didn't know, they didn't know, man. They didn't know. Jeez. But they did know 158,000 worth.